Murray Mexted warns All Blacks jobs will be on the line during historic South Africa tour. Former All Blacks loose forward Murray Mexted believes that careers will be on the line when Scott Robertson's New Zealand side tours South Africa later this year, describing the upcoming series as the ultimate litmus test ahead of the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia. For the first time since 1996, the All Blacks will embark on a full tour of South Africa, facing not only the world champion Springboks, but also the Stormers, Sharks, Bulls, and Lions in a demanding multi-match schedule that will test squad depth, adaptability, and mental resilience. Following 3-test split between Cape Town and Johannesburg, the two rugby giants will then meet at a neutral international venue to complete a 4-match series billed as rugby's greatest rivalry. It is a tour steeped in history, intensity, and expectation, and one that Mexted believes will shape the All Blacks World Cup prospects in a profound way. A defining tour for Robertson's reign. Speaking on the DSBN podcast with Martin Devlin, the 72-year-old was clear that this tour represents a defining moment for Robertson's tenure as head coach. I'll just qualify it. Winning that series will give us a hell of a lot more chance of winning the Rugby World Cup, Mexted said. This will be fantastic for Razor to be able to develop and start polishing the team for the Rugby World Cup because of the difference between playing at altitude and at sea level. 2 tests at altitude in itself is a challenge for everybody. The All Blacks are scheduled to play matches both at sea level and at high-altitude venues, such as Johannesburg and Pretoria, a logistical and physiological challenge that mirrors the diverse conditions teams face during World Cups. For Mexted, that variety makes the tour invaluable preparation rather than a simple results-driven exercise. Opportunity to build and expose the squad. While Mexted has been openly critical of New Zealand's performances over the past 2 seasons, he sees the tour as a chance to finally establish clarity around combinations, leadership, and game identity. The former back rower believes Robertson now has the opportunity to stress test his squad in the most unforgiving rugby environment possible. So it's going to be a great experience, and it's going to be a great way of developing our best All Black side. He said, "This is a great way of developing a team mantra because every game is going to be very difficult. It will expose the strengths and weaknesses within this group of players." The inclusion of matches against South Africa's leading United Rugby Championship franchises, all of whom boast Springbok-laden lineups, will further stretch the All Blacks beyond the standard test match bubble. Unlike a traditional test window, this tour demands rotation, adaptability, and leadership depth, forcing Robertson to rely on his wider squad rather than a fixed core. Jobs are on the line, however. Mexted made it clear that the stakes extend far beyond player development. In his view, jobs will be on the line throughout the tour, not only for players fighting to cement their World Cup credentials, but also for the coaches and selectors shaping the squad. This will expose the strengths and weaknesses within this group of players and also possibly within the group of selectors and coaches, he said. I mean, their job's on the line too, because this would be the hardest challenge. While Mexted stopped short of naming specific individuals, his comments underline the pressure facing New Zealand rugby to demonstrate tangible progress under Robertson following a mixed 2025 campaign that he has previously criticized the All Blacks for buggering around over the past 2 years, suggesting that inconsistency and experimentation have come at the cost of New Zealand's aura. Learning curve must end. Despite his criticism, Mexted acknowledged Robertson's capacity to learn and adapt, expressing cautious optimism that the coaching group has absorbed lessons from recent disappointments. "I sense Razor is a good learner, a quick learner," he said. "But hopefully he and his band of men, which is much smaller now, have learned a hell of a lot in the last 2 years, and now is the time to bar up." For Mexted, the margin for excuses is shrinking rapidly. With the Rugby World Cup now less than 2 years away, experimentation must give way to execution. "If you don't bar up, you come second," he added. The danger of a changing game. Mexted also highlighted the evolving nature of modern rugby as a complicating factor, noting that the gap between Tier 1 nations has narrowed significantly, particularly the way the game has moved, where any team can beat any team. He said that he further suggested that refereeing interpretations can heavily influence outcomes, increasing the importance of discipline adaptability, and emotional control, qualities that will be tested to the limit in South Africa. Against the Springboks, mistakes are rarely forgiven. Against South African franchises playing with home crowd intensity, lapses in focus can quickly turn into defeats at a measure of World Cup readiness ultimately. Mexted sees the tour as the most accurate indicator yet of where the All Blacks truly stand in the global hierarchy. If New Zealand can compete and win in South Africa, it would not only restore confidence, but also validate Robertson's long-term vision. Failure, however, would intensify scrutiny and accelerate difficult conversations around personnel, tactics, and leadership. For a nation accustomed to dominance, the tour represents a crossroads, an opportunity to reclaim authority or confirmation that the rebuild still has some way to go. One thing is certain. When the All Blacks run out in green territory later this year, they will be playing for far more than just silverware. They will be playing for reputations, careers, and the right to believe that the road to Australia 2027 is heading in the right direction.